Welcome, YouTubers, to another episode on Go Custom Figures. Custom Figures, is that right? Go Figure Customs. See, I get that wrong every single time now because it's just so friggin' ingrained. The first time I said it wrong, it got ingrained wrong. So I gotta think about it every single time, and I usually get it wrong. So welcome to another episode. I had a request quite a while ago to review my own custom figures, which is something that I haven't done yet. People want to know, my process on building and painting them, and I have started a painting tutorial video. I have quite a bit of it shot already. I just need to sit down and finish the figure and finish the video for it too. With everybody off for the COVID-19, I might sit down and work on that, because I am unfortunately stuck like everybody else out of work because they work in Africa offshore, and the country that I work in has basically shut the country down. They're letting one flight in a week, and I think the company that I am contracted to they're just stuck. So it looks like it may be that way until the middle of April, and I'm supposed to be back in country April 1st. So I think I may be out of work a short time as well. So I might try and get some of these projects done that I've said that I'm going to do. For the review today, I thought I would do my latest custom Outback. I've been working on this particular figure for, let's see if it'll focus. Ooh. Focus in on him. Oh, see, he doesn't want to stand on the figure stand very well. I've been working on this particular figure for quite some time. I've been stuck on a number of different issues. I was going to originally use, let's see if I can do something there and make him focus on that. It doesn't want to focus on him too well. All right. I've been stuck on a number of different issues on, number one, using which head to use. Most people are using like the 50th anniversary, 30th anniversary Pursuit of Cobra head. So I, of course, want to do something different than everybody else. So I was going to use the direct-to-consumer head. And I liked how it looked, but it just didn't quite work. It didn't quite. I had like a vision in my head of how I wanted this to look, and it wasn't working. So I was going to switch to. I was just about ready to switch to the same head that everybody else is using and say screw it, just because I wanted to get this custom done. And I have been working on it for months, but decided to go with something else when I found this particular head. Which was cast by Star Wars Geek Customs. The prior of that is a good friend of mine, Dave Castle. I've known him for a long time. I get a lot of my stuff from him. You can find his store on eBay. Reasonable prices and good service, and his turnaround time is not bad either. So I highly recommend him. A lot of my custom cast heads are from Star Wars Geek Customs. So then I found the head. A lot of times I don't know what these are casts of. I just find something that I like and I use it. I don't really care what it's from. When I posted this on my page, one of the people commented saying that it's from the Duck Dynasty figures, which I hadn't thought about it, but yeah, that's exactly what it is. I didn't like it because the scarf on the head came up significantly higher than the head, and it made the proportions look really, really weird. So what I did was I dremeled down the top of I took a significant portion of the top of the head off, and then just used some sculpting putty and resculpted the scarf on his head. So I sculpted the back of it there. See if we can get some more light on that. Probably not. Sculpted the back, and then just dremelled it down and sculpted it and painted it then. The other thing that I've been stuck on was painting camouflage. I've really got to be in the mood for painting camouflage. It's probably not really easy to see in the video. I will stick some pictures in, some high-res pictures, because I always take nice pictures of my customs when I get done with them, just so you can see the camouflage a little bit better. I was kind of on the fence on whether or not to do camouflage, because I've seen so many nice customs that don't have camouflage on the legs, but the original figure had a two-tone camouflage on them. So I decided to, with the help of my best friend JD, suggested to indeed paint camouflage, and I really got to be in the mood to paint camouflage, otherwise it just looks like shit. So it took me a while to like just sit down and bite the bullet and get the camouflage painted on this. So the rest of the figure is just a Marauder Task Force figure. I really like the Marauder Task Force figures for my customs now. It's just really impressive with just, I think Joy Toy really illustrates what you can do with just one simple buck and a decent paint job. So with just a good paint job, you're really able to make a number of characters just with a decent paint job. So the belt is also Marauder Task Force. I did glue some pouches on the back. Those are old BBI pouches. The belt, the drop-down holsters, and leg pouch are Marauder Task Force from their latest line of products. The pistol is, I don't know, I just had it sitting laying around. I don't even know what it was. And then a Marauder Task Force knife. I had this almost finished, figure finished, and was looking at the card. I was doing the custom card back for him, which I have here, and I'll show you in a minute, when I noticed that he has a knife on his right leg, and I missed that. So I went back and added that afterwards. And of course, the knife is removable, and pistol is removable. You know, I've said in my videos that pistol is removable. That I don't really make my figures too playable anymore. So like I don't take them apart to sand the joints like a lot of people do, to prevent paint rubs, just because what I do with my customs now, all of which you can see behind me on the wall, that display is getting bigger and bigger by the day, and I'll probably have another video here shortly of my next batch of carded figures to show you, both new figures and just really old figures that have a new life to them because they're on a nice card. But since I don't pose, I don't do much posing, and I don't do much pictures, and I don't do hardly any playing with my customs, they go on a card. I really don't worry too much about paint rubs anymore, and I'm not doing them for commissions, so I'm not too worried about it. I gave him a FN Scar rifle, which is also from Marauder Task Force. I added the pistol grip. Stuff like this, I do tend to, even though it's modular and is designed to come apart for playability, like the pistol grip, I'll glue those on. You know, this is a permanent, no one else is going to get this gun. It's going to get carded, so there's not going to be the modularness, is that a word, of the weapon is going to be kind of lost on him, because he's going to be carded. So just having the pistol grip glued on is not that big of a deal. I think the magazine is still removable though. And then the backpack, I don't remember, it's not BBI. There was another line of toys that wasn't by 21st Century. And I can't, they were sort of semi-realistic military stuff. And I don't remember who the backpack's made by. And they're, for the most part, these backpacks are really huge and really don't go too well with the 3 3/4 inch guys. But if you remember, the original Outback had a huge backpack with him, so I decided to go ahead and give him a very large backpack, reminiscent of the original figure. For the painting, oh, and I did do a water slide decal. I haven't had much luck with slide decals. I'm trying to put one on my Mutt custom right now. I've tried twice, and it just, I don't know. I don't have a lot of luck with the water slide decals. Luckily, this one went on perfectly. So painted the shirt white. I think I did the shirt with an airbrush. I hate painting white, and the white looks really good on this, so I'm pretty sure I did that with an airbrush before it clogged up. I've been working on these that long. Water slide decal is by Bad Mother Tattoo, and you can find those guys on eBay as well. Highly recommend their stuff. It's all fantastic stuff. I'm just not very good at using it. And then the paints that I used, I think everything is pretty much Games Workshop. I really like the Games Workshop stuff because it's very versatile. You can dry brush with it, you can wet brush with it, and you can use it for base coats. The legs might have been airbrushed with Tamiya. I also like Tamiya. Tamiya is not a very, I won't say user friendly, but it's not necessarily one for beginners because you have to stir it rather than shake it. And if you paint on and then try and paint on over it and it's still wet, it just smears. So you have to kind of let it dry, and you have to do a lot of times you have to do multiple light coats of Tamiya. So it's not really user friendly for the newer customizers. So a lot of people will give Tamiya a bad rap, but they have a lot of fantastic colors and realistic military color schemes, and they have a line of clear colored paints, so like clear red, clear orange. So like my Seeker Customs Transformer Seekers, the canopies are orange like the original figures were, so I used the Tamiya clear on that, and it works perfectly. My Iron Man Customs, I usually paint the whole thing silver and then go over it with the Tamiya clear red. That's a little painting technique there. Secret tip. Not so much secret, but it's a good way to do the stuff like that. And then painting camouflage. I don't really have any tips or tricks on how to paint camouflage, other than just to make sure that you break it up. You know, I'll have a computer open or my iPad open with a picture of a camouflage that I like to kind of replicate. I kind of did a woodland camouflage pattern on this, except I left the black off. The black was just a bit too much for this. And then I did a wash with, it was Games Workshop. They have a like camo green wash. So I did a wash over all of the camouflage, even the brown parts, and it kind of all fades it together, which is, kind of what you want to have, how I like to have my camouflage. I don't like to have the colors broken up so strongly that they stand out. It's camouflage. It's supposed to blend in. So a wash helps blend the colors all together and make it look more like a realistic figure. Of course, the backpack is removable. The harness is one of the Marauder Task Force harnesses. I've just glued some pouches on there to cover the holes, the peg holes that are there for the modular gear. I had sculpted something on, but it didn't look very well, so I dremeled off what I had sculpted and just glued some old BBI pouches on there. One of the tips and tricks I will recommend for when you use pouches is to dremel them down quite a bit in the back, more than you would think, so they'll sit flat and they don't stick out. A lot of my old customs, the pouches stick way out, and it's very noticeable. If you dremel them down a little further than what you might think that you need to, then they sit flatter and they look more realistic. And then the plate carrier is just off a BBI figure. Well, I don't even know if BBI is still making these. They call them BBI just out of force of habit, but it's from the Elite Forces pack. They sell them off of Amazon for like $20 for like 5 figures. I buy them. I strip the gear. They come with nice weapons. The weapons are nice in those packs. And then I dremeled that down and just glued it onto his hips. Or his hips? Are they on his hips? Yeah, it's on his hips. So it still rotates. It still has upper torso functionality. And then the backpack has a really big peg on it because, like I said, these weren't designed for Joes. So I dremeled out a bigger hole rather than what I normally would do would be to cut the peg out and then take a peg off a 25th anniversary backpack that I have in my fodder bin, and then put a glop of sculpting putty and then put the peg in at the right depth so it will sit flush with the back, and then let it set. And it works very well for peg transplants. But for this guy, he's going on a card. He's not even going to be wearing his backpack the whole rest of his life. So I figured, I'll just dremel out the hole in his back a little bit bigger and just have him wear the backpack for the rest of the time, or for the pictures to shoot. I think that's about all on that particular figure. Of course, I'm always open to answering questions or comments on how I made something, or particular style, painting techniques, any questions on the figures. And then this is the card that I made for him. So I used vintage card art. I had a hell of a time finding the original card art because there was a sticker here for a giveaway. I don't remember if it was the Sergeant Slaughter giveaway, but I had a hard time finding the original art with the lower leg and the rock in place. Actually, I couldn't find any. So what I did was I took I found a Night Force version. So what I did was I photoshopped in the Night Force version and then photoshopped in the regular version behind it. So if you'll notice, if you got a quick keen eye and look at the original art, you'll notice the rock is not the same color as the original art. And if you look closely, the leg in that picture is actually blue, but with the backpack there, it makes it look like a shadow. So I think it works pretty well. The other thing that I do with all of them as kind of as an Easter egg is I list the accessories that he comes with, which on this one I have him listed as coming with the FN scar, the backpack, and the pistol. Because, like I said, I forgot about the knife, so his knife should be on there too. And I was gonna add the flashlight because he does come with the flashlight like the original one, but it's glued on. So I decided not to add that. If I was going to make this for not to card, I have elastic. Just it's probably, I don't know, 1/4 inch elastic, maybe not even that wide. I would make an elastic loop and glue it to the leg pouch, and then his flashlight could be removable. I've done that on a lot of my older customs. You have to be careful how you do that because the glue will seep into the elastic maybe further than you want, and you'll lose that elasticity. So that's about it on the card. Nothing too exciting there. But since I have the card ready, I went to got it trimmed today. Oh, I was gonna, another tip or trick for making cards like this. If you're gonna make a card that has a white border, I suggest putting a layer behind your border that's either black or a different color. So when you're ready to trim it down, you know where your card ends. I've already clipped the corners, otherwise you could see the layer of black in the corner. It just, because I've trimmed some of my cards a little too close because I couldn't tell where my edge was. So that's kind of another tip or trick. If you're making your own cards that have white borders, put a darker layer behind it so you know where your edges are. That'll save you a little bit of trouble. So let's see what it looks like carded, shall we? So here's what it looks like carded. got the reflection on there. There we go. I'm using blisters from Empire Blisters. Just make sure that you look at figure out how tall your figure is, and how deep the blister is, because they do make some that are not as deep, that will fit some of the smaller Star Wars figures, but will not fit like some of the G.I. Joe figures. So just if you're gonna get blisters from them, just make sure that you get the right one. Because I bought a whole bunch thinking that they would fit some of the customs that I had made, and they didn't. Luckily, they fit some of the Star Wars customs that I had made. And then the accessory blister, they make 2 or 3 different accessory blisters for your accessories. Although I think this one is for smaller figures, like the young Boba Fett and the young Anakin Skywalker figures. But I use them for oversized accessories. So there you go. That's what it looks like on the vintage style card. And I really think that carding your customs is just a fantastic way to, number one, display your customs, and number two, keep them safe. And you don't have to dust them. Then they're not getting knocked over. The dog doesn't get them and chew them up. And then if you do a bunch of the same type, so like my Star Wars customs and my G.I. Joe customs are all on similar cards. Once you have a bunch and start getting them all put together in one area, then they really look cool, because then you've got your own customized toy line. I think that's about all I got for this particular episode. Stay tuned, because I am almost finished with my Mutt and Junkyard figure, so I'm going to also review them. I don't have the card. I have the card done. The Photoshop is done. I haven't taken it to the printer yet, so might not have this particular part in the video just yet, or maybe I'll print the card and get it made before I shoot the video. I haven't decided. And I think that's about it. So thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment and questions below. And thanks for watching.